It's like we've always said, this podcast is like sitting at a bar with your friends.
Yeah.
And you're just chopping it up. So same thing like that. You never know who your friend invites to the bar to hang out with you.
That's right.
So boys, meet my friend Kurt, who I invited to the bar to sit and chop it up with us today. Kurt, boys, Kurt.
What's happening, Kurt? Thanks for coming
What's going on, brothers?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Good to see you. I know you probably can't see me. They make fun of my picture over here. I'm a little pixelated, I think, down here.
Are you real, or are you like some sort of AI-generated bar stool?
I am
That's a
an
great
AI-generated bar stool. That's a great thing to say. I'm
Hopefully,
actually a
hopefully we
product
get
of JR's mind. You know what I mean? He just envisioned me.
Oh,
and
Lord.
This is what came out.
I needed some co-hosts for a podcast, and I thought I just willed it in to fruition, and there he is.
I mean, what scares me, JR, is he sounds a lot like Don Grisham accent-wise.
Oh yeah. It's that deep South. Oh, it's there. So Blasey is from South Alabama, not too far from where we were fraternity brothers in college. Brantley,
the
aka
Tide
Tigs,
network is strong.
Yeah, well, Blasey's Troy.
I'm an anomaly. Yep, I am.
He is full Troy, no Auburn, no Alabama allegiance. He's full Troy, 100%.
I washed all that out of me. You know what I mean? I
So
cleansed
proud of
myself of all my sins from my past. You know.
and Brantley, it was Blasey's neighbor when they both lived down outside of Destin, Florida, and now Brantley's back in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So that's how we all came together. Kurt, where are you coming to today? You at home? You in Virginia, D.C. area?
I'm in good old Virginia, Washington, D.C. Not a lot going on here this week. Pretty quiet, D.C. You know.
It's just a quiet week.
Well, that's what I thought this morning. I thought if we're going to sit up here and talk about stuff we have no clue about, I got to bring in my ringer and bring in someone who actually might know something about any of this stuff that's going on. And I know we'll get into all of that, but thank you for coming on today, Kurt. I know we just got to see each other a few weeks ago out in Dewey Beach, Delaware, one of our annual hangout spots when we do our shows out there every year. It was good to catch up with you and Don Grisham and Joey. What about Joey falling asleep on that guy's shoulder at the end of the night?
Joey
so
G, you know, it gets to a certain point in the night. He's had 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 drinks, and
good night.
Father Time catches up with him real quick.
To the best of us.
Got to take a nap.
But I was telling the guys that we got to sit down and do an interview for your show, Kurt's Country, that's coming out on your new home, your new network home that you've been working with now. NewNation. I was telling them, they were like, well, how'd you get to know Kurt? And I said, man, that's a long story. And he's like, well, how'd Kurt get doing all this? I said, that's a long story. So glad to have you on today to save me from butchering your stories. So you want to tell the guys, we've known each other for a long time, so I know all about you. You want to tell the guys and gals out there in podcast land listening to the Tigs Bits podcast today, how you got to be the Kurt I know today?
Yeah, I've been out here in D.C. since 2006. Worked on Capitol Hill for members of Congress, the House, Senate, congressional committees, and had kind of a front row seat to how this entire new era of politics that we're currently in came to be. And it's so different. I remember the very first Christmas that I was here. It was the George W. Bush Christmas party at the White House, and how different that world was compared to where we are now. And, kind of along the way, I also became a really, really big country music fan. And, just started going to shows like anyone. I remember, going to the amphitheater out here in Virginia, sitting up there on the lawn in the cheap seats, watching a lot of artists. One of my first shows that I ever got to experience was Brad Paisley, and Justin Moore was the supporting act on that tour. And that's when I became a Justin Moore fan. Actually, was at that show back in like 2012 or something. Flash forward to 2016, 2017, and I'd stopped working on Capitol Hill, started doing more of the media thing going on. Fox, CNN, MSNBC, all three, all the time, talking about politics. And just kind of as a mental break, I started a daily morning email tip sheet about country music called The Morning Hangover, that, much to my shock, started being widely read in Nashville and in the industry side of things. And again, I'm just this guy in DC, not in the industry, have never worked in the industry, just doing something really just for fun as a hobby. And it just took off. And the very first time I got to go to a show kind of wearing this morning hangover hat, it was a Justin Moore show. And the very first tour bus I ever got to go on was Justin Moore's bus when his label rep at the time, MTK, who now works at Amazon, saw me at the show, recognized me for my tip sheet, said, "You want to come meet Justin?" I said, "Sure." Thinking it'd just be cool, 5 minutes, whatever, no big deal. And Justin and I started talking for like 2 hours. We just hit it off. And it really goes to tell you the kind of guy that Justin is, that I'm nobody. I mean, compared to a Justin Moore, right? And he certainly at this point has no idea who I am. And to give that kind of time and to just have a conversation where you click with somebody was one of the most memorable experiences of my life. And that's kind of the start of the Justin Moore friendship that I had. And as I continued on with this project, it kept getting bigger and bigger. And I personally believe that Justin is one of the most underappreciated talents in our country music world. He just puts out nothing but good music. His consistency and his loyalty to his fans never wavers. This guy's got almost 13 number ones by now. You go to a Justin Moore show, it is just hit after hit after hit.
It is.
And Justin's one of the only 3 or 4 artists that I will go to extraordinary lengths to see live. If he is playing within a 5-hour radius of me, I will be there. And
that's awesome.
Of all the artists I've gotten to know, I've probably seen his show more than just about anybody's at this point, and it never gets old to me. And as we turn the calendar to 2024, I signed a new deal with this company called NewsNation. It's the fastest growing cable news network in America. Has a lot of names you've heard of, from Chris Cuomo to Elizabeth Vargas to Leland Vittert. And to me, their brand is very much kind of what the world was before 2016. It is a place where you can be Republican, Democrat on the same show together, and you can have a conversation. You're not yelling at each other. You're not trying to make the other person look bad. It is
crazy concept, right?
Imagine that. Right. It's like you're not up there going, "You're wrong," and you're a racist. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
It's become my news source. I mean, that is, I love that channel. It's replaced everything else for me because you can get both sides. You can hear both sides. You can hear an argument, and you can make an informed decision for yourself.
Yes.
That's the way it should be, right?
And as I started doing this NewsNation gig, the powers that be started seeing my social media going like, "Why are you at like a Tim McGraw or a Keith Urban concert? Like, why are you at WrestleMania 40 in Philly? Like, what is your life?" And so they started seeing that I had this completely different world that I walked through, and decided that it'd be really cool to send a camera with me everywhere that I go. And that's the concept of this new show called Kurt's Country that we're going to be launching here coming up in August. And we just filmed an episode with Justin and his opening act Tyler Kinch at Dewey Beach, and it was just a lot of fun. It was great, and it was really important to me as we filmed this episode to do an interview with JR the Handler, because I just think that JR is one of the most interesting characters you will ever meet in any form of entertainment.
Book your next tee time at Cypress Bend Golf Resort in Toledo Bend Lake Country. The stunning redesigned course welcomes players of all levels, from new golfers to seasoned pros. Located along Toledo Bend Lake, the course features 10 unforgettable waterfront holes with lush fairways and panoramic views. Big fun awaits you beyond the greens. Book a guided fishing trip at our world-class fishery. Visit the new Toledo Bend Family Adventure Park. Swing into action and plan your dream getaway to Toledo Bend Lake Country today.
Telling Kurt about this getting picked up by the Bubba Army. And I said, "You know who Bubba is?" And he goes, "Of course I do. Bubba's NWO." so
life.
Kurt for life. So Kurt knows wrestling. Kurt knows hoops. Kurt's got a good jumper. And I thought this would just be fun today to catch up on all those things. Kurt, is that where you know Bubba from mainly, is from wrestling? Did you know about his
back in the day,
radio show
watching
before that?
him with Hogan and the NWO, and I know that him and Hogan obviously are even a very long-standing friendship. They're very tight. I was thinking about Bubba the other day when I saw Hogan show up at the RNC convention there, ripping off his shirt and talking about what you're going to do when the Trump maniacs run wild on you, I guess. Good throwback there. But yeah, so I'm well familiar with Bubba.
Yeah,
that was a wild deal just there with Hogan. He got everybody into it. It was just classic. It was like going back to 1987.
It was
show business. It was
so
total
good,
show
man.
business.
I thought
Trump got the show
Saturday
business down
main
pat.
event. You know what I mean? Like here he goes.
Remember that back in the day? Hogan,
yes.
Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior,
So good,
Mega
dude.
Powers.
That was my peak of wrestling watching.
Yeah.
was during that time frame as well. So
That was
so
huge.
Bubba and Hogan, they're not tight anymore. They don't really speak. So all that craziness that took place, I'm sure you may have not heard about the whole Hogan sex tape deal and all that.
Oh yeah.
So, but Bubba was talking about how Hogan gimmicks up his shirts. You know what I mean, with the little cuts here. And he used to do that for him. And he said, what he missed out was he didn't do the bottom gimmick.
He didn't do the bottom.
And he
exactly
ripped it
right.
and he got hung on the bottom. He said, if I'd have been there, he wouldn't have got hung up on that bottom gimmick deal. So
It would have come
That's
right
funny. See, it's the little details. It's the little things that I love that. That's interesting.
He forgot one little bitty thing. He just forgot that one little thing. But still,
It's always
was
about
badass.
those tigs and bits you lose track of.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is
Really is.
exactly right.
It really
nice
is.
work there.
No, I talking about that whole spectacle the other night, I thought that was just wild. And Kid Rock coming on, Lee Greenwood. I mean,
what is happening?
I know. I'm like, is this? I mean, it's total show business, as we know. President Trump's has figured that out.
All about the showbiz.
Yeah, showbiz, and that's our society. That's where we're. I mean, that's why you don't hear the news channels aren't filled with the heroes of the day. They're filled with the villains of the day, or would be villains of the day, because it sells more tickets for whatever reason.
As fans of professional wrestling, we all know how important the heels are to the business. Like
absolutely,
the stories about the heel, not the baby face, and the news is very much the same way as well.
Yeah,
I know. So, but
it
I
really
thought
is. It
it
really
100%
is
it is.
exactly like
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, and it sells and it works. And I thought it was good. I thought Trump went on for way too long. That's the same with when he was
fell asleep
president.
and woke back up. I was like, is this still happening?
I swear, we were watching it intently for the first half hour, and then my whole family, I look around, everybody's on their phones. I'm like, yeah, he kind of lost us there.
I just had lunch with the guy from Georgia, diehard Republican, and he had said, if you only saw the first half hour, it's one of the greatest convention speeches of all time.
Yeah.
If you saw the whole thing, you're like, this went on an hour too long. Like,
yes,
a little too
exactly
long.
Right.
That's my knock on it. That's my one knock on it, really, because I looked at the time. I thought they're going to go on production schedule. It's 9:30. News is coming on at 10. He's got 30 minutes. Perfect. He just got shot at. I mean, that's what he's going to give his thing. He doesn't have to say much. He has to say like 4 things and walk
Get in,
off.
get out, drop the mic, walk away.
Yeah.
But just like when he was president, and I'm a fan of his, But just like except for some of these things, like when he was president, he would say something and it would make so much sense, and at the very end he'd say, "All right, poopy face, horse face," or something just ridiculous. And I'm like, if you'd have left that part out, if you'd have left the poopy face out,
it's like
you had everybody. You had everybody until you wrote poopy face. And I'm like,
well, a friend of mine who worked at the convention was telling me that in the prompter, the speech that they loaded in there was about 3,000 words. He ended up giving a 12,000-word speech.
God, Lord.
Can't help it. He can't help it.
Oh my God, that is crazy.
And
That's
then you
nuts.
flip on the other side. I mean, and I'm not going to be mean, because we are all human. I love what Jenna Bush said about the whole situation. We are all human, but everyone that's cognitively able knows that President Biden has just overstayed his stay there, and it's just not happening anymore. So you got kind of the opposite. You got one that does that, and if I don't think President Biden could get out that many words. If he did, they wouldn't be legible. But now that we've got it wouldn't. Y'all know it wouldn't. He couldn't say that many words that fast. It would be mumble up jumble.
Listen, I don't want to hear 12,000 words from anybody at this point.
Anybody.
That's
exactly. Do the work.
Less is more.
less is more.
Yes.
So, but you flip, you've got two opposites on there. It's really wild. We've got the Democratic convention coming up in a few weeks.
It's going to be interesting.
Just saw President Biden has said he removed him from running in the next electoral. Has endorsed his Vice President Harris. Kurt, what do you think about that whole situation?
Come visit us at the world-famous Floribama, a legendary honky-tonk beach bar located on the gorgeous white sandy beaches of the Gulf Coast where Orange Beach, Alabama meet Perdido Key, Florida. Floribama offers live music 365 days a year across 4 different stages, over 20 major events for all ages, a walk-up oyster bar for a snack while enjoying some of our delicious cocktails, and memories that are guaranteed to last a lifetime. Come do it with us on the line. For more information, visit our website at floribama.com.
You know, I mean, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I think all of us who who have a grandparent or a parent, knows what it's like to watch, someone in decline. And it's not pleasant. It's not something that he is right now at this moment, he is the United States of America president. I always want our president to succeed, no matter who's in the office.
I agree with that.
A reflection of our country and a reflection of our people.
Yeah.
Watching him speak, it's like watching Grandpa try to cross the street when there's ice on the ground. You're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? If I were related to him, I would not want him to run for president again, knowing that that's the last image we're going to have of him.
Right.
I was relieved that he made the decision ultimately to not run again, because I think that's best for our country. I think that's best for his legacy.
Yeah.
And I think we should underestimate the fact that when you have the most powerful position in all the world, however it happened, deciding not to pursue that again, most people don't do that. Most people hang on for dear life to that power for as much and as long as they can. And he made the hard decision here to take himself out and essentially admit Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
In sports, in life, in everything.
You're right.
Father Time always wins. And so, I applaud the fact that he did that, because it's not something you see very often, especially in politics where everybody wants power.
Right.
So good for him for doing that. And I think that's honestly what's best for him and our country. And I think the race now is very different. 3 weeks ago, I would have told you, and I told this to JR and Justin on the bus, Donald Trump going to win in a landslide. It's not going to be close. If I were Donald Trump, I'd go on vacation until November because you're going to win.
And less is more. Keep your mouth shut.
Yes.
That's right.
Less more. Absolutely.
And that was before the assassination attempt. Crying out loud. Now it's okay. Now who knows, right? It's anybody's game. It is an actual contest. It's a fair fight. It's going to be a very different campaign now. And it's historic. No matter what ends up happening here, this is historic. This is the first time in American political history, a woman of color is one of the 2 nominees running for president. No matter how it ends, I think that's a good thing, just in general. That's great. I think that Donald Trump has an opportunity to make history here in terms of being one of the only presidents to run, win, then lose, and then run again and win. That doesn't happen very often in this game.
Yep.
You don't get that second chance usually.
True.
So that's historic in its own way. And regardless of the outcome, we now know that there is a new generation of leadership waiting in the wings to take over from Biden and Trump, whether it's J.D. Vance on the Republican side, who's 39 years old and without that beard looks like he's 22, frankly.
That's correct.
Or Kamala Harris and whoever she picks as her vice president. There's just a new generation. And the thing I hear the most from everybody across party lines, they are ready for new leadership. They're ready for a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. And I could see that. I grew up in politics in Louisiana at the state level, and it needs that kind of energy change, and you living in Washington and understanding that it's grown stale. It's stale on both sides. It's the same rhetoric every single day, every single week. There needs to be some new blood and some, that can be more in the middle, can harmonize on both sides a little bit more, not the extreme left, not the extreme right, just kind of, and it looks like America's trying to come back to that. It's trying to get back to the middle, which is
because
where
one thing I know, like when I spend time with just normal folks in the country, and I'm probably the only like pundit in cable news world here that actually spends time with real America, frankly, because of my country music life. And I'll tell you, I still believe after everything that I've seen, and as ugly as it gets and as divisive as it can be, there are still more things that unite us than divide us in this country. And that's why I love things like, Cody Johnson the other night at his show, said like, I know there are people here who like Joe Biden. I know there are people here who like Donald Trump. And all I'm going to tell you is like, whatever you want to do, whatever you want, like, that's fine. We are here tonight for music. We are here tonight for unity. And I love that message. I think that's great.
Absolutely. That's the way it should be.
Oh, no, I say that all the time, man. It's like, there's so many more things like what you're saying that bring us together, but both parties have managed to make the other smaller things so much bigger than actually what brings us together. And it's just straight BS, man. It's like, so I'm not a fan of either party. I've been a registered independent for 20 years. Like, I'm just not, so I find myself kind of going back and forth, and I've shifted now, look like I'm more right wing. And it's like, I'm really not, man. I'm really centered, like in overall, and I can talk to people on both sides and we can all get along and have fun together, but like they've made it this dang Bloods and Crips battle, dude.
Well, and really the problem is, and the people that I honestly hold responsible the most for this is the mainstream media institutions who elevate the extreme voices, who make money off of the extreme voices, and make us think that everyone is like that, when in reality it really isn't. We are all most people just trying to get through the day, get our kids to school, to practice, do their homework, eat dinner, walk the dog, go to bed, wake up, do it again. Like, that's life. That's normal life for most people in this country right there.
Yeah. Right. Keep the lights on, pay the bills, save a little money for vacation, save a little bit for retirement. That's really all we want to do. You know what I mean?
It really is that simple.
Yeah.
And the media tends to elevate these voices and throw at these crazy ideas like that really aren't what most people are dealing with on any given day.
Right.
You are absolutely right, man. Yeah.
Creates a good narrative, though. And brings in viewers.
Like I said, they make money. A lot of people got rich off of dividing America. I mean, let's be clear here. And that's what I think is probably the most offensive. And I wish most people kind of realize, like, man, like, you should see these people when the cameras go off.
Exactly.
And when they're not performing anymore. Because they sing a very different tune. Like, they are pretending. And you guys are kind of just like, you're their ATM machine. I would say people on the right and the left in media, like, they aren't as right and left as they pretend to be.
That is correct. Heels, baby faces, the production,
and they make turns, and they'll work the gimmick, and they'll make a heel turn or a face turn when needed, for whatever purpose they need to use it for. I mean,
it is nothing but wrestling that's going on.
It is.
There,
oh my God!
What I mean?
I have told people, I say this all the time. If you don't understand politics today, just take 3 hours, watch Monday Night Raw on the USA Network or SmackDown on Fox, and it will all make sense, because that's what it is. It's like, you might as well just say, like, hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's Charlotte Flair, Donald Trump might as well be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Joe Biden is Ric Flair. I mean, like, that's what this is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly what it is. I love that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now we just need for people to say, like, the president needs to come in with his own entrance music now, smoke, fire,
I
laser.
want some pyro. I want to see someone hit someone with a chair at a debate,
Yes.
Hey, Trump's done it. Trump's taken a stunner. He's been it, he's been a big wrestling fan for a long time.
Battle of Billionaires at WrestleMania,
right.
Yes.
I mean, I always joke that back in the 2016 campaign, Ted Cruz would be president of the United States right now if on that debate stage when Donald Trump made fun of his wife and dad, if Ted had walked on over and just gotten in his grill and said, "You better take that back or I'm going to knock you out," like, boom, it'd be over. If he had gone full WWE in that moment, Ted Cruz would have been president.
He would have turned. That would have been a huge turn. True.
Huge turn.
Point. And everybody thought he had to. Everybody thought, you ain't messing with him. If he sticks up for his family like that, he'll stick up for our country.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if I were in charge of either political party or campaign, the very first hire I would make if I were running for president, I'd be like, I'd like to hire Paul Heyman to write my speeches and to teach me how to cut a promo.
Yeah.
No one does it better, do they?
And if you have to call, if you have to call it in the ring, and and Cruz is undecisive whether he should walk up on him or not, you have to have a code word like they do in the ring when you're calling the ring. You could just say Will Smith, yep. and that would mean to go over there and take a swing. You know,
that's right.
Will Smith is the call word.
Collar and elbow tie up. All right, shoot me off the ropes. We're gonna shoulder block takedown. Then Will Smith.
Words from the wise man.
Yeah. See, JR could do it. JR could be the wise man here.
Yes, JR's the wise man of politics. I think we've got a role for him.
Oh, wow.
I also think it's just better if you walk out with a posse of people, walking out like
your faction. You got to have your faction. Yeah, you got to have
the faction. Can you imagine
Absolutely.
you, me, Joey, Justin Moore walking out, fingers in the air?
The faction.
Just paints the scene.
Have you been able to get out and play any hoops lately? I know you're an avid sportsman and you like to hoop from time. Have you been hooping any lately?
I have. I played last week when we got back from Dewey. I played 3 times last week. I kid you not. Basketball is a big part of my life. I try to play 3 or 4 times a week. It's like my stress release.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
I will orchestrate my travel, my TV, my wife, everything around basketball. It is.
I love that.
It is, and I got to say, and I'll say this publicly, and JR knows this. Justin Moore's been ducking me for years on the court. I just want to say I have said every year I'm trying to get him to play basketball. I hear he's really good. Was all state or whatever in Arkansas. I've even heard rumors that JR's used to have a good jump shot back in the day at least. But I have never gotten them on a basketball court. That's all I'm saying.
He called us just out of our prime, but we're going to try to make this comeback like Rocky 6 here and see if we can come back and challenge
the
Kurt.
key there is he's doing this 3-4 days a week still.
Exactly.
So you better really train.
Exactly.
Priorities.
Word to my buddy.
You got to say your prayers, eat your vitamins, brother.
Brother. And do your roids. And do a couple shots of D-ball and Winnie V while you're at it.
There you go.
Now, JR, I think you could train for a 3-point contest. I think you start training, get the energy there and the stamina there. I think that's something you could compete in. Buddy.
Oh yeah, we could do a shooting contest. It doesn't have to be one-on-one. I'm not unreasonable.
Kurt's
no, if I get my knee checked out, and I know nothing's wrong with my knee and I'm not going to hurt further it anymore or whatever I need to do, I'll play whatever. I don't need no practice. I'll be ready to go. I could go now.
No practice.
I could go right now, not like I used to, but I could go right now and compete in any rec center, not as long as it's not a bunch of ex-college guys and all that. I go with any men's league.
That's who I play with. I play with former athletes, some professional, international athletes.
Right. When I was in Nashville,
summertime.
Right.
I'm not going against Kurt. You can have that, JR.
Well, when I was in Nashville, when I lived full time in Nashville, downtown Y was like that. I mean, it was hoopers in there. So I have done that, but right now I couldn't do that. I have to get a little better shape for that. But I'm just worried now my knee's gonna give out. Last time I telling you that story. Last time I went up and down. One time felt a little pressure. Went to go pick the ball up. Right knee went out, and I'm freaking out, thinking, oh my God, I've torn something. Iced it.
Father Time is undefeated, JR.
Yeah, and I'm still. It's a little something there, but I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get. Kurt, I was thinking about this, and we had Brad Johnson, former NFL quarterback, now trick shot star,
yes, sir,
world champ down with the Tampa Bay Bucks. We had him on, and we were talking about things, when you're a kid and what, that he thinks kids should play all different sports now, and there's things about growing up that you miss if you don't. I was thinking about this, Kurt, when you were talking about hooping. You're a California guy, originally a West Coast guy, now living on the East. Do you feel, because I feel like this and I haven't hooped in a little bit, but when I do go, I feel like when I'm playing basketball, I feel like I'm at home still. I feel like that kid again. Like it's a little bit of home for me. Like I feel like I'm in my gym, and my middle school gym or the church where I used to shoot or something like that. It's just being in the gym kind of takes me back in time. It's like a comfort thing at this point for me. You feel that?
I mean, my first love was basketball, and I remember when I fell in love with the game in 3rd grade. When my cousin, who was an assistant coach at one of the colleges in Pennsylvania, did a basketball camp in the summer, and I went out for that and learned how to play the game. And they concluded that camp with a tournament, and in the semifinals, I hit the game-winning 3 to get us into the finals, just when I fell in love with the 3-point shot.
Nice.
And haven't stopped shooting since. And it's anytime I'm on the court, I go back to those places. I remember my high school gym. I played high school ball, obviously in San Diego, and I remember one summer, this glorious summer, the handle on the back door of the gym fell off. So we took it because then every day we could go in and put the handle back on and turn the thing and get in the gym. So we had these glorious runs that summer.
Nice.
So that's where basketball is that to me. That's where I am. I have never aged mentally and emotionally, on the basketball court. I'm still the same kid from back then.
That's so awesome.
I love it.
Explains why I get in so many fights, probably.
It's that passion, drive, and patience. That's what gets you there.
A lot of trash talk. Oh,
I can only imagine.
I mean, it wouldn't be any fun if there wasn't trash talk.
I'm the worst kind of trash talker because I can actually back it up. That's just infuriating people.
Oh God, yes,
man,
I
like this. I like it. I mean,
that's how I used to be. I was unassuming. The unassuming guy is usually the deadly one too. If you can really play, you look
people
unassuming.
Look at me.
That's the
Listen,
best.
I don't look like I can ball. I get that. Believe me. And I walk in there and I chuck up a shot from 35 feet away and drain it. I'm like, yep. That's right.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. Blasey, I think does Props have a basketball court?
There's basketball. We got 2 basketball courts within 150 yards in either direction. No, I'd say probably 300 yards in either direction. You got the sports park, and then we got the basketball courts here at Hammock Bay. So yes, there are basketball courts in sight.
I'm just
so we have to get you down, Kurt.
Here.
Yeah,
Kurt. We just had we just broke a world record cornhole toss this past week. Blossy and Tigs were in Hammock Bay near where Blossy lives. It's outside of Destin, Florida.
Oh, okay.
And we have Props Brewery, which Blasey's usually there doing his show live from the brewery when we do our live show. But they have this really nice yard and this facility they've got there. So they set up, and we had the world record cornhole toss that day, and then they had a wrestling match. They set up a ring in the bar. Wrestling
right
that night. And actually on camera, fully documented, they broke the world record. Our friend Hal Laird threw one 90.5 feet and made a cornhole shot.
Whoa.
Recorded
Absolutely.
all that stuff. But we
shattered the world record.
Shattered the world record. We go to Guinness Book of World Records. They want $16,000 for us to put us in the book. So we're like,
tell us that we broke the record and they've got 78 feet. It's like, you can keep your paper title. We know what the real champs are. We got it documented here.
Yeah, it's documented.
That's it.
Paper champions.
That's it.
So we did that, and we're going to have another one next year. We need to get you down. Maybe we'll have a 3-point
I want to do an
contest.
episode of Kurt's Country at that. That sounds fun.
There you go. That'd be a nice slice of America.
Oh, it's a great spot. It's huge. It's we've even got our own little studio. I should say it's actually where they brew, but it's glass wall, so we can close off in there, or we can get out there. Cool. And we got so many different options there. We got full run of the place. So you let me know. Maybe go over there and bring JR in. We do the one-on-one thing.
Let's do that.
I'm not getting involved with either one of y'all. I'm okay at basketball. That's about it.
We'll record it and watch y'all. We'll be encouraged.
We'll do a little 2 on. It's going to be me and Tigs versus JR and Blossy over here.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair enough.
And I will say this: he's selling himself short. Blasey can play a little bit, but Blasey's also one of those guys that we've talked about on the show before. He started drive. He out of nowhere gets into long drive competition and ends up on like the major level within like a year or two after we got out of college. So I wouldn't be surprised me if Blasey between now and then said, "Oh, they're going to do a 3-point contest," and he gets out there and practices and comes out saying he's Steph Curry, Sabrina Ionescu on us or something, or Caitlin Clark.
I'm still not convinced that Blasey's a real person. I still see like the pixelated,
I'm glad you're here to confirm, because he's always thinks we're lying to him because we want him to get a computer instead of using his damn phone for podcasting. Kurt, you're professional in the media world. Do you know any professionals that use their cell phone turned around backwards to do these type interviews?
I've never heard of that before, unless you're maybe like 6 years old. But
right. Now you know a full-grown version.
You know something that blew my mind? I guess I haven't been keeping up with stamp prices. Somebody asked me the other day, said, "Hey, you know how much a stamp is?" This was 2 days ago. I said 39 cents. I don't know, 42. What? They were like, "Dude, it just went up to what, 73?" Yeah. I was like, "Dude, 73 cents."
Really?
I was like, it's doubled since like 2009. Like more than double. Isn't that crazy? That's insane.
Thanks.
I missed it by one day last week.
Email killed the post office.
Yeah, true.
Is that what it is, you think?
Absolutely. The volume of mail in this country has dropped tremendously, where the majority of the mail that you actually get is just junk mail or ads.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like actual mail that you need. Like everything that we used to do by mail is done electronically. Your phone bill, your internet bill, health, like your banking statements, all of it's online or on your phone.
Right.
People generally don't send letters to one another. The only time that the post office circulation is what it normally is during Valentine's Day and Christmas.
That's wild.
Cards.
It's like video killed the radio star.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? Like, I think it sounds like a new song we should write.
Yeah, email killed the post office.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
just paid $30 to overnight a letter to Nashville tomorrow. I was like, okay. But yeah, I missed last week. I got there the day after stamps went up because I'd heard about it. I saw it or heard about it on something and tried to get to the post office. And I was like, I need a book of stamps. Did I miss the day?
I don't remember the last time I bought stamps. I'll be honest with you.
Me either.
It's been years
I know
since I
either.
bought stamps.
This sucks because now I'm going to get, what was it, JR? Like $481 for a book of 100?
It was a book of, let's see, what was it? A book of 18 was $13.14 for a book of 18 stamps because I got the
highway robbery
waterfowl.
That's the first thing that's really, really got me.
cents.
I was like, have I been like in a coma? Like I didn't
You just
realize
think,
it. Because usually like 2 or 3 cents every few years. You know what I mean? It's like
Seemed like they were a quarter for all our lives as kids. They were a
For
quarter.
most of my life, it was 32 cents. That's what it was for most of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, remember back in the day, going to a movie was like $3.50 in the afternoon.
True.
Yeah.
Very
Gas
true.
when I started driving was $1.05.
Right.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. I could get it for 88 cents if we went over the state line in Georgia.
You know, the older that I get, and I listen to like us talking, and then I go back to like what our parents were talking about and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, we're turning into these people.
Yeah, back in my day.
But it really, I don't think that things.
if you're
have
18 or
gone-
20 years old, you can tell these stories now. That's what's scary.
That's
you know what I mean?
that's
I remember
correct.
when I was 6 and 7 buying
It's like
X,
it's
Y, and Z at the gas station.
It happens in 5-year increments now instead of 10, 15, 20-year increments. It's shorter, I guess, probably because of technology and communication and all of that has shortened that little window. But yeah, it's crazy. I catch myself all the
think
time.
About like when just 20 years ago, there was no YouTube, there was no Twitter or X or Instagram or TikTok or any of that.
None of it.
When I started college in 1998,
much better.
Yeah,
we never had a home
let's be honest.
computer.
If social media existed back in our day, like we'd all be canceled by now.
Oh yeah,
I don't think the 4 of us would be doing this right now for sure.
Yeah, thank goodness.
No
it's not.
way.
Oh.
JR be in jail for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
I know.
Me and everyone I knew growing up, all in prison. Kurt, I know we've taken a lot of your time today. But you got any concerts coming up? You got anything on the horizon? Any big adventures?
I'm definitely going to hit August is always a great concert time for me. I'm looking at, I know just out in my neck of the woods, I got Dan and Shay coming up, Dustin Lynch, Darius Rucker, one of my favorite humans on earth, who's just hilarious to be around, frankly.
Good dude.
Get him to give you some mushrooms. Y'all trip.
Dude, Darius also a very big WWE fan. That's one of the things that we bonded over.
Is he really?
Oh yeah, he's got one of Ric Flair's original robes.
Oh man,
Really?
Yeah,
that is pimp. That is pimp.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Like,
The man.
He is like just old school.
I got to see them when they were playing. He was playing. I think he came back and they were actually playing. Was it Darius or Hootie? I think he was playing as Hootie in San Francisco. This was like in 2019, and I just happened to be out there for work, and I got to go to man. And you talk about just like hit after hit after hit after hit. He was playing everything, you know what I mean? But it was Hootie. He was playing it all.
Yeah.
Like it was amazing. Like there wasn't a single song that you didn't sing along to and you didn't know, man. That absolutely stellar concert.
I love that dude. I saw him in Tiger Stadium here in Baton Rouge.
Oh.
I mean, there's 2 concert moments that I have in that stadium, and this was the first one. It was just Darius. He wasn't Hootie. That was just Darius. He was doing all of his stuff. Closed it with Wagon Wheel. You know, we're thinking he's closing it with Wagon Wheel. Oh, no, it started raining. Prince had just died, and he did his version of Purple Rain, and the lights were purple. In Death Valley gives me chill bumps right now just thinking about it. Raining, purple.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Dude, oh, yeah. It was unbelievable. And then the number one moment, though, is, of course, the Garthquake, whenever Garth Brooks played Callin' Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
And the place went crazy. Of course, had another
nothing like a
earthquake.
Garth Stadium show. That's special.
It is, man. They're good. Just I love a stadium show, but you got to have the right artist. because it can fall flat quick, and I've seen it.
I just saw the other month Chesney was at Brown Band at Dallas Cowboys Stadium, and I watching the show.
Wow.
And I look to my right, who's behind me, Dak Prescott, and I look to my left, and who's over there is Brock Lesnar.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wow. Neither one of them are small dudes.
No,
let me tell you. You look at Brock, and you're just like, "Oh my!" I feel like less of a man right now. Let me just say, like, good God, like,
like if you're picking your squad, you're picking your squad to play in a game. He's one every time for every man on earth. Period. He's my number one. I got that dude's on my side.
Just a massive. It's like, what? How did your parents feed you when you're that big? And they're getting bigger every day. It's wild. No, we didn't get those.
Are, brother. Man, thanks so much for having me, man. This has been a blast. I hope y'all have me back because this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, we
that.
definitely are.
Thanks for hopping on today.
Hey, I got one last question for you, though, Kurt. This is something new I want to start doing with everybody. There were some big names you just dropped there. Who is the biggest name or most well-known person that you have in your cell phone?
Probably. Okay, I'm going to give you two answers. At one point in time, it was Kobe Bryant.
Oh, wow.
And and the story behind that, I guessed his email address one time, sent him an email. He responded like, "Holy shit, that worked! Are you kidding me?
What? Are you kidding me?
I'm not." So and then started a rapport with him about some stuff, and then I would say, I think there are. You can make a case that maybe Mark Cuban might be the biggest.
Wow.
Pretty daggum big one.
Pretty good. Pretty big one.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Wow. It's like I'm kind of torn. It's like it's either Mark or McGraw. It's like one of those two. Tim McGraw would be one too.
Oh, man, that's solid.
Y'all just thought I knew some people. You know what I mean? It's not about what you know, it's who you know. And I know Kurt, and Kurt knows everybody. So
that's awesome. Man.
We'll have Kurt back on again soon. This is going to be a wild electoral season.
Oh, yeah.
Kurt, you're going to have to be our resident.
I'll be your DC correspondent here.
That's it.
For Tigs
it's
and Bits.
an official title.
Hey, JR, I got one phone number in here, and we'll move on from this that you're not going to believe.
Bring it.
Cell phone number, Nick Saban. Let's move on.
Oh, hey.
Alabama, that'll get you. That'll save some tickets in Alabama.
Now, the story's about as weird as Kurt's over there. I'll just save it. So, yeah.
And
I heard somebody say it one night. They said it out loud, and I just took it. And it was right, too. I called it once only, and that's it. I confirmed, and I've never called it again.
Wow.
Nice. That's good.
That's slick. That's slick. Well, Kurt Brantley's going to be reaching out to you soon. So he's going to pick your brain on how you've created this empire you have with your media and all the cool things you do, like sending random emails to Kobe Bryant and getting him to respond, which is awesome. R.I.P. Kobe. That's a good one, Kurt. Well, thank you, brother.
Yeah,
I love you, buddy. I hope to see you soon, and
yes,
we'll catch up. And they held me to this. I told them one time I'd love to come on anytime they needed me, and I've been on here for 6 months every week, 3 times a week. So
Hotel California. Oh my God.
We'll be in touch.
Hey, anytime you want me, I'm here, brother.